Well, let's discuss this and more with Deputy Opposition Leader in the Queensland Parliament, Jarrod Bleijie. Jarrod, thank you very much for your time tonight. There's been a lot of talk this week about how the Premier might be reconsidering her future and that her colleagues are giving her the push, hoping it might give them a political upside. But the failings of this government traverse every portfolio and really do belong to all of the people who would consider themselves successors. So what does it say about Labor's values that they think just playing merry-go-round or, musical chairs is going to make all the difference?
Well, great to be on your program, Amanda. And look, you're absolutely right. We've seen the chaos and crisis and the dysfunction of the Labor government over the last few weeks and few days. And the people that are suffering because of the Labor government are Queenslanders in the health crisis, the youth crime crisis, the housing crisis, or the cost of living crisis. And Labor, all they are focused on at the moment is themselves. How do they stay in jobs? How do they keep the ministerial leather going? And then you've seen the auditioning happening since the Premier went away. The very first day she went away, they started, the Labor Party started leaking on the Premier. And then you've had Cameron Dick out auditioning with a manifesto, you've had Stephen Miles out, you've had Shannon Fentiman out, and then, God help us, you had Mark Bailey out during the week trying to show off, and that's the guy responsible for all the budget blowouts in Queensland and covering up $2.4 billion in blowout on a train manufacturing program. It's quite rotten, and I think the Labor government in Queensland is just rotting to the core.
Queenslanders are really struggling with the cost of living, and yet it barely seems to rate a mention for this state government. What should the government be doing now to take that pressure off and to bring more prosperity into households statewide?
Well, Queensland Labor have now given up on any aspirational people in Queensland. All they're doing now is saying that we've given you money back, it's in your bank account with a cost of living relief. That's the easiest government can do, because all they're doing is giving Queenslanders back their very money. It's already paid to the government. All the government are doing is giving a little bit back. But you've got to look at whole change. And that's why we talk about the Callide Power Station now. The coal-fired power station has still had generators which are not working. They've been out of action for years now. The Auditor General in Queensland said that having those generators out of action is contributing to the cost of living in Queensland and higher electricity prices. So the government could fix the generators, get them back online, and that would be an immediate relief, cost of living relief and electricity relief to the Queenslanders at the moment who are suffering. But the government, they've lost their way. The Labor Party in Queensland, Amanda, have lost their way. They've just worried about how they can keep power in Queensland. And, today of all days, Cameron Dick, who's trying not to be outshone by Stephen Miles and Shannon Fentiman in the auditioning process, he released a strategy today about tourism. And interestingly, it was how to have a holiday in Queensland and encouraging people to have holidays in Queensland at the very time his boss is in Italy. Now, if that doesn't show you that they are out in the Labor Party to get their own leader, I think it says more about the three people auditioning for the role than anybody else in Queensland.